Hi everyone, today what I'm going to be doing is giving you a bit of a rundown on the books that I've read within the past week or so, those books that are upcoming for me, and also some plans for the channel and some things that I want to be posting more frequently. So if you're interested, stay tuned. One of the best books that I read was The Lamb by Lucy Rose. And this book is basically about a mother-daughter living in the woods, and there are people that will get lost, come by, and they consume them. So that is kind of like what happens. But really for me, this was a look at the mother-daughter relationship and also the differences and dynamics between your private life and your public life. I think it was super interesting that this daughter still went to school, and the things that also happened at school for her relationships, etc. I think that this was a really, really interesting, juxtaposition between the public and private life, and then also has these kind of like horror, gory moments as well. So I think that if that's something that interests you, this book is for you. But I do understand that this is not a book for everyone. But for me, I thought this was just perfect. I enjoyed every moment of it. So I definitely recommend it. The next book that I want to talk about is How to Kill Men and Get Away with It by Katy Brent. I thought this book would be very interesting for me. I was hoping for a little bit more. But just the rundown is basically there's this kind of upper class woman who ends up encountering pretty bad men. And so she kills them. And there's kind of nothing else in this book. That's it. And there's not a lot of self-development. There's not a lot of reflection. Stuff like that is just not there. So if you just want a book that's like just killing men, then this is the book for you. And then also there's some plot holes, or not plot holes, but things I found super annoying. Like she's being stalked and she doesn't do anything about it. She just doesn't tell. Like she tells the police once and then she's still being stalked and it's super creepy, but she just doesn't care. And it's super weird. It's like, why? And it doesn't make any sense. So I had some issues with this. I believe I gave it 2 stars. I definitely would say this is not my favorite. I think that this has been done in much better ways. I think I'll come out with a video talking about books like this that have been done properly. But for me, this just was not a hit. It is a fast read if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, it was just the same thing kind of over and over with nothing else. So that's another book that I read. Next up is the book called I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. This was one that I saw on Books and Lala's channel. She talks about it quite frequently, actually, as one of her favorites. So I thought I would give it a go. And I really did enjoy it. So basically there is this slasher, this teenage slasher, but at first, you kind of don't know what's going on. There is an event that happens and it's a lot of his stream of consciousness. He's, just talking about things, reflecting on things, and that's pretty much the entire book until about the end. I would say the first 70% is just him kind of talking through things and some aspects and some things that happened. And then in the end, it kind of, goes from there and kind of gets a little bit more action. But I would say that the best part about this book is that it's kind of making fun of the slasher genre, and it has a lot of really fun aspects and references, and I'm not even a huge fan of the slasher genre, so I'm sure there's even more than what I even got from it. But I would say it's really fun. It's a great book. It's a little bit slow at the beginning, and then at the end it kind of all comes together. And I recommend actually just going into it blind. Like, you don't need to know very much. Just pick it up if you're interested and see if it's something that works for you. So yeah, I gave that a 4 stars. It wasn't like the perfect book because it was quite slow for me. But the ending just really pulled through. So yeah, that's what I thought about it. All right, the next book is Knock Knock Open Wide. This book has been really making its rounds, or at least last year, I believe. And so I'm like, I really need to read this finally. So I did, and I'm so happy I did. This is a Irish folklore horror book which is not something that I knew I needed to read, but clearly I did. It's super interesting. It's hard to explain without spoiling anything, and you really don't want to go in knowing too much. There's a creepy TV show. There is some interesting relationships, different dynamics, family dynamics, all of that good stuff. And yeah, then there's the folklore, which is really interesting. So I think that if you want to try something that you've probably never read before, something so original feeling, this is really the one to read. It's got something special to it. It's a little bit slow in the beginning, and maybe the first 50% even, I would say, is quite slow, and then it picks up. And also the thing is, you will like see these scenes that happen that you really don't understand, and it really does take a long time to understand what was happening. But yeah, I think this book is super interesting, super original, something that is really, creative and should be read. So this one I definitely recommend wholeheartedly, even though I didn't give it a 5 stars. I gave it a 4 stars, but that's still a very good rating. So I definitely recommend it. The next book is Riley Sager's With a Vengeance. I love Riley Sager. I think that the writing is just so accessible. It's just always going to be a fun read. It always comes through, except for this time. So I gave this book a 1 star, actually. And what happens is, as you would expect, there are different strangers on this train, and you get to know them, and you get to know why they're there, and there are murders, and who killed who, what's happening, all of that. And it's been done before. And I think that's the main issue with this book, is that it's been done before, and we don't really need a repeat of the same kinds of things. And then my other big issue with this book is that there were so many twists and turns, but just to have those twists and turns, which was so unfulfilling. It just felt like it was done on purpose to, I don't know, try and make it interesting, but it's not interesting. So I really, really hated this book, to be honest. It just really was not good. And I think that there's people that could just, read it and enjoy it. But when you read other things that are much better, it's really hard to read a book like that. And also knowing what Riley Sager has written, like, I really don't even feel like that book came from Riley Sager, because of these, the fact that the characters were just so boring. Like, I don't know. I really struggled with this book. So I would say, if you're a Riley Sager fan, just expect that it's not going to be necessarily like his other books. And, it's still worth giving it a try. But I think that so far I've also seen there's quite a few bad reviews on it as well. So I'm kind of in that same ballpark with this one. All right, one of the books I am most looking forward to is Chuck Tingle's Lucky Day. This one I'm going to start reading like as soon as possible. I did actually buy this one, which I have not been buying many books, but I bought it because I love Chuck Tingle and I want their books up on my bookshelf. So in this book, there is a low probability event that happens where people die in ways that are not very probable, and it's horrifying. And then after, there is a character who is really focusing on that and kind of researching what happened and trying to figure it out. And then she gets called into some investigation, something like that. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I am super intrigued by this book. Chuck Tingle just always hits it for me. So yeah, I'm super excited. Next, I picked up We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer. I don't know if that's how you say their name, but this one has been so popular and I'm really behind on reading this one, but I found it at the library and I was like, okay, finally I have a chance to read it. So this is definitely going to be on my list. Basically, there's like an old remote house, strange things are happening, blah, blah, blah. It's like a spooky house story, but because it has such great reviews, it makes me think that there's something really special about this book. So I'm looking forward to it, and I really want to be a part of the club of people that have read this book. So yeah, this is one that is upcoming for me as well. The next book is Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang. I am very excited for this one as well. This is a book about a girl that was doing music, and she's also an immigrant, and she ends up taking this job at this beauty salon or this beauty center, and they end up kind of getting wrapped up with things and, starting to get very involved and what's expected of them at this beauty center. And then the story just goes from there. So this kind of reminds me of The Substance maybe a little bit. And I'm hoping it's just as horrifying as The Substance, because that's what I really want from it. I think it does get pretty dark. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And I think it'll be a very, very interesting, good read that might also have, some kind of more fun aspects as well. I feel like these beauty ones also kind of have something that's really fun about them and is really kind of easy to read as well. So it's like horrifying, but also fun and easy to read. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's what I expect from this book, but I guess we'll see if that changes. The next book is Walking Practice by Dolki Min. And in this book, there is an alien from outer space that comes to Earth and is stuck here. So they need to feast on humans. And the way that they do that is by using dating apps and seducing people and then eating them. And I already started the first little bit of it and I'm absolutely in love with it. I think it's amazing. I think the writing is great. I think it's a great look into society and fitting in with society and what that looks like. It is a shorter book, which I really feel like I need at this point. I feel like I've had so many long books and I've been in a bit of a slump. So I think that this book is perfect. I think it's great and it's funny and it still has its dark elements and some gore and everything. So I think that you have to look up the trigger warnings definitely before this book, but if it's something that you're into, then definitely I would consider picking up this book if you can get your hands on it. I could only get it online because I don't see it in any bookstores here. But yeah, if you can find it, I would definitely check it out. All right, so that is it for my wrap up. I hope it was interesting. I also wanted to mention that Books and Lala just came out with her video where she talks about her favorite horrors for the past decade, and she gave 8 books per year. So I'm going to be doing a video where I read each of those 8 books for each year. So I will probably do one of those videos a month and do one of those years per month. If you're interested in that, that should be coming up relatively soon. I will add those books into my reading schedule. And yeah, I think I will definitely enjoy them because I really do enjoy books that are recommended by Books and Lala. But sometimes she recommends really slow books, which is not always my thing. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read them anyways, and we'll see what comes out of it. And then maybe I'll also read the Goodreads winners as well and kind of compare and see what I think. So anyways, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, have a good day.